From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. The BC Wildfire Service says smokejumpers who are trained to parachute from fixed-wing aircraft to fight wildfires have been rapidly deployed this week to cover an influx of newly discovered fires. Smokejumper spotter Greg Jones, who's stationed at a base in Mackenzie, says crews have been busy, although not quite as busy as 2023, which was the busiest year on record.
It's been busy, it's been steady, but I think everyone's pretty aware that it hasn't really fully woken up yet, and we're anticipating probably a fairly busy later July and into August. So I think realistically it's just getting started as far as the busy time of the year.
The Wildfire Service says there have been about 37 deployments of smoke jumping teams so far this year. A growing wildfire in northern Alberta has prompted the evacuation of dozens of residents and put several communities on high alert. All residents in Chipewyan Lake were ordered out Thursday due to the threat of a blaze cutting off their only escape route. The Little Red River Cree Nation also issued an evacuation alert for John Doerr Prairie and Fox Lake, although officials there say there is no immediate danger being reported. A credit rating agency says insurance claims caused by the Toronto flood earlier in the week could be significant for insurers. Morningstar DBRS says the insurance industry can expect insured losses of around $1 billion. However, the agency admits that while the insured losses are large for a single weather event, they are manageable for the insurance industry. Tuesday's heavy rains led to cars being submerged on flooded roadways and basements filled with water and mud. Overseas now, 11 people have been killed, according to Chinese authorities, following the partial collapse of a highway bridge in the country's northwest. Now, the disaster was triggered by heavy storms and flooding. Local media is reporting that 5 vehicles that fell off the bridge have been recovered, but rescue and recovery operations continue. As many as 30 people are still missing. The end of the work week arrived Friday with an online state of chaos as a widespread technology outage affected companies and services globally. Bo Woods, one of the founders of the cybersecurity company Stratego Security, has more on the resolution.
The fix in this case requires several steps that may take minutes, but in the aggregate over those tens of millions of computers, that can take millions of hours of work effort.
Of course, at the heart of Friday's massive disruption was CrowdStrike, a cybersecurity firm that says the problem happened when it deployed a faulty update to computers running Microsoft Windows. And tragedy has hit the Calgary Zoo. Officials say one of its polar bears has died after failing to resurface from a pool in its enclosure. The zoo says the polar bear sanctuary will be closed today. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Saskatchewan Roughriders beat the visiting Winnipeg Blue Bombers 19-9 in CFL action Friday night. The Riders are 5-1 on the season, while the Bombers, who had their 2-game win streak halted, slipped to 2-5. Elsewhere, the Ottawa Redblacks, who haven't lost at home, beat the Edmonton Elks, who haven't won anywhere this season, by a final score of 20-14. The Elks fall to 0-6, while the Redblacks improved to 4-2. Over to the MLB, where the Toronto Blue Jays ended up on the wrong side of a 5-4 decision with the visiting Detroit Tigers. All-star first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and outfielder George Springer had 2-run homers for the Jays, who lost for the third time in 4 games. And finally, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander scored 23 points as Canada defended host France 85-73 in an Olympic men's basketball exhibition game. R.J. Barrett also added 21 points for Team Canada. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.